so the votes are in. So today, I will be reviewing... Fix that. Yeah, there we go. For those of you who'd rather I review Halo 4, well, then tough, you didn't vote. Sorry, but that's democracy. And those who did vote, voted for this. Okay, so Volume 6 recently came to a conclusion. There were some awesome parts, and there were some bad parts. No, not as bad as that, though. Okay, I am going to get this out of the way right now. There will be spoilers. If you have not finished Volume 6, or started it, get off this video now, and come back when you finished it. Okay, so in Chapter 1 we see Team RWBY along with Crow, Ozpin, and Team Ranger. They still call themselves Team Ranger? Fuck it. Whatever. They're on their way to Argus. And during the wait, the girls are hit on by some huntsmen, one of whom dies like a stormtrooper later that episode, so he really doesn't fucking matter. And needless to say, the girls weren't exactly impressed. The train ride seems to be going smoothly, and then they are attacked by Flying Grim, who are drawn to the relic like a shark to blood. That's when RWBY comes up with the idea to use Jean's abundance of aura and Ren's ability to mask emotions to mask the civilians so they can safely make it to Argus, while Crow and Team RWBY recover them and deal with the Grim. But before they can dispatch the final one, it destroys a section of the train tracks, causing the air section of the train to crash. And we get to Chapter 2 and then plot twist! It turns out, Cinder was not destroyed at the end of Volume 5. Hold on, I'm not done with it. I'll come back to that later. Flashback. Just before they got on the train to Argus, we find out what the relic is. Ozpin reveals that this mysterious item is in fact called the Relic of Knowledge, an artifact with the ability to answer any question it is asked. However, there are limitations to its power. The relic cannot tell the future, and it can only answer 3 questions every 100 years. No pressure. After their section of the train crashes, our heroes grow more and more suspicious of Ozpin, and they start to suspect that maybe there's more he is hiding from them. And true enough, there is plenty he has yet to tell them. Anyway, back to Cinder. Just by looking at the way she moves, we can tell that her power has been severely drained as the time has passed. I called supreme bullshit almost immediately. But, then again, we saw her fall off a cliff. We didn't see her body eviscerated, like, I don't know, Majin Buu at the end of Dragon Ball Z, so Cinder coming back wasn't entirely unexpected, given that we didn't see her explicitly destroyed. Back to the main cast. RWBY summons Jin and asks her, what is it that Ozpin has been hiding from them? And it turns out he has a much longer history with Salem than we thought. Next, we see the origin story of Salem. Now, I'm not going to summarize Chapter 3, because I've already made a video about Salem, links in the description below. After that massive revelation, the rest of the team are beyond furious with Ozpin for the huge amount he refused to tell them. And rather than try to explain himself, he simply retreats deep into Oscar's subconscious. And then we learn he has no plan on how to defeat Salem. Crow feels especially betrayed by Oz's lies and secrecy. And the old lady tells them that despite everything that's been revealed, they still have a mission, to get to Atlas and seal the relic away. After wandering in the snow for what I guess were hours, they come across some abandoned buildings, so they decide to put up there for the night. Now, we get to Act 2. Now knowing where she can find our heroes, Cinder sets off in pursuit of them. But before she leaves the tavern, she runs into Neo, who then attacks Cinder, believing that Cinder is the one to blame for the death of her boss, Roman Torchwick. And a fight breaks out between the two. And after a brief fight between the two, they come to an agreement that Neo's beef is not with Cinder, but is with Little Red. Yes, I just said that. Live with the shock. Back at Brunswick Farms, the gang are looking for anything that could be useful. Then we hear Weiss scream and see dead bodies in the beds. That raises the question of what is it that killed them? Is it the same case in the other buildings? Unfortunately, the writers completely fucked up any sense of mystery with some line of throwaway dialogue when Crow says,
"It's the same in every house."
While Yang and Blake are searching for supplies, Yang's PTSD kicks in for the first time since Volume 4. I swear, I think the writers just bring this up whenever it's convenient. And then, Blake says to Yang,
"Promise I'll be there. I'll protect you."
This struck me as if Blake was talking to Yang like she was some kind of defenseless victim or something. This struck me as if Blake was talking to Yang like she was some kind of defenseless victim or something. Rather than saying that, I think Blake should have said to Yang that she would have her back. Next, we see that the huge revelation from Jin is still taking a toll on everyone. Yang suggests why even bothering going all the way to Atlas, when they could just simply bury the relic or throw it down a well. But in this episode, something is off about our heroes. They seem docile, apathetic. Hold on, I'll get back to that later. RWBY, in a momentary lapse in judgment, almost drops the relic down the well, but then something startles her into actually dropping it. RWBY realizes that there is something wrong about where they are. So Team RWBY head down to find the lamp. It does not take them long to find it, and that's where we are introduced to the apathy. Personally, these are my favorite Grimm. What makes them deadly is not their strength or their speed, but their ability to siphon away a person's will. They discover that they cannot fight them in the normal way, so rather they are forced to retreat. Just as it looks like they're about to fall victim to the apathy, Calavera helps RWBY utilize her silver eye power in order to neutralize the apathy, so that they can all escape. But before they get away, Weiss burns down the estate. And at the end, we figure out that the cause of their apathy was the apathy. Chapter 7 delves into Calavera's origin story, and we learn that she was once a legendary warrior by the name of the Grim Reaper. That is, until she lost her eyes and went into hiding. And the crew finally make it to Argus. That's about all I have to say about it. Now, we get to the third and final act. And this is where the writers really start to fuck up. Hold on, I'll come back to that. I'm not done with it yet. Chapter 9 opens up with Emerald and Mercury having a conversation, revealing their motivations for why they sided with Cinder. For Emerald, her reason was that Cinder was the only family she ever really had. And for Mercury, his answer is a little more interesting, at least to me. For Mercury, it just made sense, in his word. His father had taught him to be an assassin, and they came to him looking for someone with those exact skills. So, yeah, it just made sense, I guess. They then erupt into a brief fist fight. However, this fight is really nothing to be taken seriously, as Emerald doesn't use her semblance and Mercury doesn't use his gun legs. Well, there's some intense music to back this scene up, so I guess it's got that going for it. Back in Argus, everyone is out looking for Oscar, who's gone missing. John then comes across a memorial to Pyrrha, and this scene is actually handled really damn well. The music really does elicit genuine emotion. And then appears Pyrrha's mother, I think? Yeah, let's just say Pyrrha's mother. I mean, it's not exactly a stretch of the imagination. I mean, the red hair, the green eyes. Team RWBY then find Crow back at the house, passed out drunk on the stairwell. And then the doors open, and it turns out Oscar wasn't missing, he just went out to go buy some new clothes. So, next, our heroes decide to steal Atlas military property. While trying to get to her objective and disable the radar system, Blake runs into Adam. That's literally everything important that happens in this episode. So, Chapter 11. Adam and Blake continue to fight, and then Yang joins in and gets a completely unearned rematch. And then skip forward to Chapter 12. He is stabbed through the chest twice by Yang and Blake, and he dies. I'll come back to that later. Now, let's take a look at the overall writing. This season was not perfect, and it had its disappointing moments as well as its good moments. The particularly disappointing moments came in Act 2. A serious disregard for subtlety. This is particularly true in Chapter 5. The dialogue essentially just spells everything out for the viewer. I think it would be better if they left it more open to interpretation. Another problem that this season had was what they did with Adam's character. Ever since day one, the dynamic between him and Blake had always been a sort of master-pupil relationship. But then the pupil ultimately splitting from the master due to ideological and philosophical clashes. But in this season, they decided to just blatantly turn him into a toxic ex-boyfriend. And then there's the issue of Yang's PTSD, which only showed up for like a couple seconds during the rematch with Adam, and like once back at Brunswick Farms. This rematch was not earned in my opinion. Or rather, them managing to kill him wasn't earned. Rather than them, winning in the second rematch, which is what we saw, I think it would be better if, rather than them winning, it turned out to be a draw, with Adam retreating just as he was starting to lose the upper hand, promising to return. When Oscar went missing, why did it have to be to get new clothes? Maybe the stress of the situation had been wearing on his mind, and he was having a crisis of confidence or something. That, at least in my opinion, would have been a better way to go about it. When they finally found him, does he decide that yes, he wants to do what he can to help stop Salem? Now, let's get to the music. Now, I don't really have much to say about the music other than it was excellent. It really fit the tone and style of the season just as it always does. Jeff and Casey Lee Williams did an excellent job, as always. Now, I'm gonna give each act a final verdict score. Act 1 was a simply stellar way to start the season, and in my opinion, it deserves no less than 8 out of 10. Act 2 really just threw some pieces of wayside and let me spell things out for us. So I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Then we come to Act 3, the weak link of this season. There were definitely some good moments in this season, but by and large, at least to me, it just wasn't that great. The fight with Cordova and Agatha was dumb. Killing Adam was a gigantic mistake. And Cordova being able to kill Goliath in Chapter 13 just screamed James and So I will give Act 3 a 4 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching. Please, hit that subscribe button if you are new. Drop this video a like and leave a comment. Alright, this is General Artaz. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not done so. Press the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Give this video a like, share it around if it piques your interest. Every purchase helps me out immensely, and I will appreciate it more than you know.
Yeah, I'm doing a little product placement. I gotta get paid too.
Alright, this is General Artaz, signing out.